Good evening and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for SFR. This is Division 1, the penultimate race of the season, and the championship is well and truly alive. My name is Jamie, and alongside me tonight is the Dutchman of Tibber. Welcome, mate. Hoe gaat het?
Het gaat goed met mij. And as you can see, it's my home race in the Netherlands.
I know your opinion is going to be biased, but what do you think about this track, mate? Do you like it as a track overall? Do the Dutch people at home like it?
Yeah, I really like it personally. The bankings are very fun to drive, and I've been there in real life too, and it's like a lot steeper than you think.
I can imagine, mate. So we'll see then how the drivers manage around here. Pocket Valley Guy is the first driver out of the circuit, and if I remember last season, this was his first race. Oh, he goes off the track. It takes out the marker boards. So I really hope the people who use the no assist, example Hazara, Volokongan, and Oscar if he's here, and whoever else is using no assist, well, they're not going to be happy with Pocky Valley Guy. So that's caught on stream, and he's taken the meter boards as well. So they may have lost their reference points. But Pocket Valley Guy, he made his debut in SFR. Same with Marco when he was in the Aston Martin. Marco took pole here last season, but unfortunately, the Romanian is not here. But here comes Pocket Valley Guy as he exits the final two corners. If I remember correctly as well, he had a puncher, I think, as well around the circuit. But here he is then on a flying lap. PVG heads down towards turn one. He goes looking for the 50-meter board. Down to the gears he goes on the curve just slightly as we exit turn one there. Very nice rotation indeed on the car as he now goes through turn two and turn three down. And this steep banking we go in towards three. As we can see, they're just trying to get the throttle as quickly as he can. The car just seems to jitter just a bit on the power there as we now head towards the top of the end of the first set. It's going to be a 24.5 in the first set as he goes through Skyflop in sixth gear, fully flat out. They carry his speed all the way through as he now heads down towards turn 7. This double right-hander now through turn 8 as he gets slower here, making sure you keep it nice and tight on the exit as well. Coming through turn 10. Very important not to touch the inside curve there because, he lost the car mid-corner. And that definitely puts him off balance there. So Pocket Valley Guy on the back foot as he now enters the chicane we go. 48.6. But Verstappen spun last year in the qualifying upper session, but didn't really affect him during the Grand Prix. Here he is out of the finals and corners. Pocket Valley Guy is about to end this lap, but I don't think it's the lap he would have wanted. Just a mistake. Here he is there with the DRS wide open as he's about to make his way towards the finish line. It's going to be a 9.7, Tipper.
Not the best lap, a few mistakes. But I think it's pretty decent, but he surely has to improve.
Here's Laser towards the final corner now. Langford, Klusler goes to P2 and P3. Klusler, the tier 2 driver. Here comes Laser. Laser goes towards the top of the time chute, and that's the exact same lot of time as Division 3's pole time. Division 3 set a 9.3, so yep, Rising Star goes quickest with an 8.8. That's 5 tenths quicker than Laser. Rising Star is quite competitive at qualifying, but in terms of his race pace, he does tend to drop backwards slightly. So I really hope he's figured something out in that Mercedes there. But so far, he's on provisional pole. Elsewhere on the circuit, we've got Fireblaze, the championship contender in P2. He's only 1 point away from Canaan. Here comes Fireblaze out of the final few corners. He'll be looking to try and take pole, but I think this is his second lap time because he's just completed, I think he's just done his first lap, which he has, a 40.8. So he's going for a second lap around here.
So he's exiting Tarzan. A little snap there. And is he gonna abandon this lap? No, he's gonna continue it as Canaan goes fastest with a 8.7. And over the Hunzerug corner. Well, it's more like a straight. Down to Skyvlak for Fireblaze. And here, going into Masters. And then turn 9 and 10. Looks nice on the braking. Exiting turn 10 here. Onto this DRS straight. And going into the Hans Ernst chicane. And there has been it wasn't a spin, just the car slowing down. But into Arie Luijendijk bocht, the final banked corner. What time is it gonna be for Fireblaze with that mistaken turn 1? 9.1 puts in P5.
Hurricane goes up into P4 in the Red Bull. We also know he's not particularly good at qualifying, although he did qualify high last week in Las Vegas. Despite picking up front wing damage, did a mega job as bringing it home as well, as Hurricane finished in 4th place with that front wing damage. As it's an LP1-2, like they were back in Miami. Came on to pole ahead of Racing as well, but Racing gave Rising Star a slipstream because it was Rising Star who took pole, and like it was in the Miami race, Alpine led the way with a 1-2, and they broke away from the rest of the field there. So Alpine once again are looking strong after they need a good result, because it was a terrible race in Las Vegas for both of them, and I don't think that Racing appeared at the I think it was the Las Vegas Grand Prix last week. Knaim, however, made contact with Hussein, and Glock goes up into P9 in the Red Bull. Of course, Glock, in reserve driver, he was competitive in season 15 when he took 2 wins and a few podiums, but unfortunately for season 16 hasn't taken a win or a podium. You know, Glock is very quick on his day, but Volokong is retired, and for those that don't know, Volokong and Oscar and Hazara like to retire from the qualifying session, give themselves a bit of a challenge and make their way forwards towards the top of the field, because Oscar last week in Las Vegas went from last to first, and Oscar has retired as well, so those main people will start at the back of the field. What about Hazara? Will he try and go for pole? Because Hazara, we finally got the trio we've always wanted, as Knaim goes quicker with an 8.702. That is on 3-lap old set of soft compound tyres. That is super competitive as well. So what a mega lap time for Knaim in the Alpine. More to show as he will put on a set of boots, lower the fuel, and go through once again later on in this qualifying session. So he's looking very capable so far in the Alpine. Hazara is entering the middle sector. He's 400s down, but of course that is not his true pace. We expected more from Hazara, but the big three, Hazara, Oscar, and Volokong, are here. However, somebody's gone off the track. It's probably a pocket runner guy, I think, in the first sector by 210 he was up, but now he's lost it.
Yeah, a little moment for him there. Laser is also on a lap. He could be in the. He could have a chance on that pole position to steal it from Knaim, as the other Aston Martin of Pocket Valley guy slows down to let the Alpine pass. Laser now second sector. Oh, I mean entry of the first sector. Let's see what he can do on his second flying lap. Oh, a little moment there exiting the final braking zone. It's gonna be a 9.001. Not the best lap, but it puts him P4, which is decent.
A bit of this instability on the back of the Aston Martin towards turn 13 when he touched the inside curve, but got away with it. Samid, yesterday's race winner in Division 2, is about to make his way towards the line. He goes up into P9, inside the top 10. It's a 9.6. As Rising Star goes quicker. Once again, it's an 8.6 from the Mercedes driver. This man is very good in terms of qualifying, but when it comes to the race, he does drop backwards, like I say, every single time. It's his first pole. I mean, his second pole, sorry, if he does take pole. Hussein, however, goes up into P5. There's been a lot of promising from Hussein recently, his performances as well, but at the same time, he's also one that does struggle as well in the Grand Prix, where he just dropped backwards slightly when he's running inside the top 10, but something just goes wrong for him. He was there in the DRS train in Miami and Japan, but just couldn't move his way forwards. And of course, that contact in towards turn 13 in Las Vegas hit him and the championship leader Knaim at the time. Made contact, and that dropped Knaim outside the top 10 out of contention for any race win or podiums as well. But he is 1 point ahead of Fireblaze in the championship with 2 races left to go this season. This is turned out to be a very close championship fight indeed between the top 2 there, Knaim and Fireblaze. Laser is a bit out of it, but he's not out of the championship just yet. He needs something to happen to Fireblaze and Knaim if he wants to try and get himself up there further along the championship. But of course, back in Las Vegas, he did struggle around there too. He did fall out the top 10 as well, but he did finish ahead of Knaim only by 1 point as well. So not many points gained there for him. As we see then the Fireblaze, what's he up to? Coming through turn 2 and turn 3 now, downshift to third gear there. As Racing goes quicker, it's an 8.4, so the LP driver is back on top of the pecking order. There is Racing then, so what a fantastic lap time. Fireblaze needs a lot to find. Already, Fireblaze is 3/10 up in the first set, so this shows it's a good lap time already as we now make our way now towards turn 7 we go, and now coming towards turn 8. No, turn 8, turn 9, sorry, this double right-hander we go. as we now go through turn 10 in this left-hander where it's very easy to drop it on the exit there with the validation on the curb on the outside. And now we head towards the chicane we go. It's the 47.8 in the middle sector. He's up by 0.4 of a second as we now head
Rising
towards...
Stars up.
Let's see what he does in the Mercedes, as there's a Mercedes off the track there at turn 7. That could be Rising Star. Rising Star has been a mistake, but here comes Fireblade out of the final corner. Let's see what lap time he can set in the Ferrari. Is it close towards the Alpines? The answer is no. Well, yes, towards Canane, but Canane's going to find a lot more time on a brand new set of tyres and plus lower fuel as well. So P4 for Fireblade. Can he improve even more?
Talking about Canane, he is just starting his lap, exiting Tarzan, turn 1. And then going into turn 2 and 3, the bank turn 3. Looks pretty clean there on the steering and the braking. A little wiggly rear exiting that corner, but looks pretty nice through here. Sector 1, 18 thousandths behind his time. Ooh, a little moment there, but ooh, a bit of grass too. Not a perfect lap, but it might improve his other time. Turn 2, I mean sector 2, 3 thousandths under his time, so it's gonna be an improvement, but not the biggest one. Final corner, the banking. He has a little moment again there, and he pits. Interesting.
So he has pitted, and I expected him to find more time. Hussein now goes up to P5, and the Haas in the Haas in P5 with an 8.8 ahead of Laser by 0.2 of a second. Laser is coming on the flying lap. Both Red Bull drivers, the Clock and Harry Kane, have had a lot of history in the past, but there are teammates now in the Red Bull because Beremy has left, quit for the season, unfortunately, as he was the one that won the British GP. No, it wasn't. He finished P3 in the British GP for his last race of the season last season when he struggled. His last win came in the Canadian Grand Prix, but of course when he has struggled and lost a bit of motivation like we all have for this F1 game. Of course, this F1 game is coming towards the end of his cycle, and the new F1 game comes out in about 19, 20 days, depending if you've got the standard edition or not, or Hamilton edition. But Hazara now, let's see if this is going to be a lap time computer. He's got somebody right behind him. That's a Red Bull driver. That is Harry Kane. So Harry Kane, oh, almost at the back of him there. Did he? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what's going on between those two. But they did make contact back in Miami on the final lap of the final Grand Prix as well, as Harry Kane is moving left and right. So might have been a misunderstanding there. Harry Kane has already done 2 laps on those set of soft powered tyres, as Hazara has done 8 laps on those tyres, so he's not really pushing out there unless Harry Kane thinks he's holding him up or not. But here's Harry Kane then out of the final few corners he goes. The DRS the DRS shut actually, because he's not going to go for flying lap yet. But yeah, he's headed back in the pit lane as Hazara then goes for more flying laps on these set of soft powered tyres. Fueled the car up for more than a few laps, of course. I think the strategy is medium to soft or soft to medium, depending what you want to go for around here. But Hazara then trying to get a feel for those soft powered tyres. Currently down there in P60 behind Langfall and Klusler, the Division 2 driver. Same with Adams as well, who's in P13. Now, last time Adams raced around here at the Dutch GP, he doesn't want me to mention this, of course, he took out the championship leader of Harry Kane in towards turn 2. Harry Kane crashed when he exited the pit lane, and it ruined and wrecked his race as well. And that's when Marco won the Grand Prix and later finished second. Noldus finished second and Later finished third, as well as Harry Kane finished 8th on that day when he was fighting with Later for the championship in season 16. It seems like a very long time ago. Yusuf Farouk in the racing ball, currently a 10th up in the first set, so of course a Division 2 driver himself. Didn't have a good race yesterday, as Laser has retired in the pit lane quite prematurely as well, so that's a very early retirement there. Whether he wants to save a set of softs for the race or not, I'm not quite sure. So here comes Yusuf then through turn 10, with the DRS open for him in the racer ball, as now he makes his way down towards the end of the sector by 0.4 of a second. So Yusuf is finding a bit more time, maybe could get himself inside the top 10. And usually in the racing ball, it's Nico Rassenberg and also Robin who are usually in the racing ball. But of course, those two hit and miss most of the time, whether they want to join or not most of the time this season. But here comes Yusuf towards the line. He crosses it right now, goes up into P8.
A nice improvement from him there. I think Rising Star is on his lap too, and he is one of the fastest guys today. So let's see what he can do. Skyflock, 4 thousandths of an improvement. Masters, pretty clean there. And there's a yellow flag for a Ferrari who was driving slowly. I think that was Fireblaze exiting the pits. Onto this DRS straight. Then sector 2, what is it gonna be? Oh, he's behind. And a little moment too, and he has backed out of his lap. Will he be doing one out lap and then another flying lap?
Yeah, Rising Star then unfortunately made a mistake in the chicane. Just a bit of a... I'm not quite sure what he did because I was off board, but here he is then, going for another cool lap, I think. He's got plenty of time to do so, and also the fuel to do so as well. So it's a battle between the Alpines and the Mercedes, but Racing's got some formidable pace. He's 3/10 clear of Kaname, who's usually very good at qualifying, is the RP driver, but his main target tonight is beating the man in P4. It is so intense in the championship between Kaname and Fireblaze. The problem for Fireblaze is that he doesn't have his teammate with him, Samid, in P11. Now, Samid is a tier 2 driver, of course, but Fireblaze, as Kaname has backed out, so I think he made a mistake in that first sector and had to back out of it, unfortunately. So I think he's also got the fuel to go for it one more time and the time to go around again. So let's see if on his next lap he'll be more successful. But Fireblaze behind us is going for a flying lap in towards turn 2 and turn 3 as we now ride aboard with the Ferrari driver as he dips down the hill, back to the throttle once again. And Energy Dan has joined, mate. So do you want to do a three-way commentary?
Hell yeah, I want to do a three-way.
Tibber, can you invite Energy Dan if you don't mind, please?
What did you say? I didn't understand.
Can you invite Energy Dan to the session, please?
Oh, I'm not sure if I have an edit.
I'll request to join. Don't worry, guys. I'll request to join.
So we're on board with Fireblaze right now in the Ferrari. He was down in the first sector, but let's see what he does in the middle sector, still down, as he doesn't bail out of it, as Fireblaze has a bit of a moment through there, almost losing the car, massive oversteer for him, and now he regroups the car then, as he put it back into non. Now, I think he bailed out of his lap time too late, because he hasn't got the battery to save it up. He can't save the battery up. He starts in this lap with 60%, and he's in the pit lane, so qualifying has done a dusted there for Fireblaze, not the best lap for him, as Kaname is pushing on his last flying lap. Here he is, he's behind the Mercedes or Red Bull, and he exits turn 10 there with a bit of movement on the rear end there for Kaname as he heads down towards the end of the middle sector. Let's see if he's up or down. He's up by a tenth of a second, maybe displacing Rising Star, getting closer towards his teammates as he exits the chicane. But there is a Red Bull just in front of us, whether it's Clark or Hurricane. Takes a lot of curb as well. George also did the same thing and crashed in 2021 in qualifying. Here comes Kaname out of the final corner. Let's see. Can he improve in P3? Can he extend the margin? Here he is. It's P2. It's an RP12. And it's exactly what he needs as well. But Rising Star is up in the middle set. So here he is across the line. Rising Star goes back into P2 by 3,000 of a second. And Racing is down in the middle sector by 1,800 of a second. He may be safe for pole, but just wants to extend it just in case. Here he is out of the final two corners. Hurricane goes up into P6 in the Red Bull. A decent qualifier for him. Hussein is P4. Here comes Racing across the line. Hazar has been disqualified, and Racing stays in P1.
That's a pretty close result there with the, I think it was the top 5 almost within a tenth or 2 tenths.
Are you in the session yet, Energy Dan?
Not yet, mate. I'm going to request to join in a second, mate. I'm just loading up.
No worries then. So that is your qualifying classifications as we now head off for the race. A 36 lap race around here at Zandvoort, and it should be a very interesting one indeed, with a mixture of strategies from medium to soft or soft to medium. Of course, with the 3 guys at the back disqualifying themselves as they want to come through to do the first last challenge, as they always do in every single race they participate in.
So can the Alpines get a double podium, and will Racing help out his teammate to get more points for the championship against Fireblaze?
It is a dry race around here in Zandvoort. There's no rain so far in Division 4, 3 and 2 and 1. It's been very dry for every single session this week in all 4 divisions, and we stay dry as well, so no rain has affected the drivers just yet. But in terms of the championship, let's see what happens in the championship, because Fireblaze is 1 point behind.
You've gone and done it there, haven't you, Jamie, by saying it's not affected you. It's going to monsoon now. Now you've done the commentator curse.
We'll find out, won't we? We'll find out later on.
Well, it would. I think it would be good round here. I have done a race round here in the wet, and it's very interesting. It's not as bad as you'd think it would be. It does make for good racing, so maybe it's a good thing.
Last season it rained in Division 2 and Division 1, and it definitely spiced things up. So maybe this season, been kind to us, the weather, and therefore it'll be dry. And I don't mind a wet race. It does spice things, of course, change with the strategies, etc. Maybe it could race mid-race or later on or early in the Grand Prix, but who knows?
See, I think in a track like Zandvoort, where overtaking's not exactly plentiful, it does make more opportunities for overtaking as people are a bit more cautious or go long on the braking, short on the braking. So yeah, it does make for more entertaining racing around a track like Zandvoort because it's so hard to overtake around here, especially people are running low downforce to high downforce. You know, you get people on the gearboxes if they're running high downforce, but then on the straights they're slower. So yeah, it could spice things up, mate.
Tipper, are you excited for this race, mate?
Yeah, I am very excited. It's going to be interesting, especially for the championship being so close, only 1 point separating the top two there, with Fireblaze in P2 and Kaneem leading the championship, with the penultimate round being now, and only 1 round remaining after this.
Guys, I'm going to restart my PS. I can't join the game, so carry on, but I will be back shortly.
Geen probleem. We're just waiting for all the drivers to apply the setup and get the get-go for the video because we can't ready up just yet. We just need to wait for a laser signal. So, in the Drivers' Championship, it is Kaneem who leads by 2. Well, he's got 253 points. In second place, Fireblaze with 253 points. Sorry, let me restart that again. First place is Kaneem with 253 points. Second is Fireblaze with 252. So only 1 point behind him, like one crucial point because in Vegas, Kaneem finished in P9 due to contact with Hussein. Fireblaze finished in P3, gained a lot of points, but Kaneem is still the championship leader. In third place is Laser with 236 points to his name, and he is about 17 points behind. I had to do the mental maths there. I didn't have to do the mental maths because it tells me what the deficit is between first and third. Jensen's fourth with 204, but of course Jensen hasn't really appeared in the majority of the season. But every time he's appeared, he's had 3 wins. And he's picked up a lot of podiums too, 4 podiums in a row. What can it be for Jensen if he turned for every single race? Because Jensen has a mighty pace, but unfortunately, his attendance hasn't been that spectacular this season. Hence why he's fourth in the championship. Nordus, well, he's fourth in the championship, and he's picked up 1 podium this season back at the Chinese Grand Prix when he was fighting with Hazara. And he had a big chance to win, but unfortunately couldn't get it. So Nordus is still trying to aim for his first win if he does come back next season in season 18 for Division 1 on the new game. Hurricane, last season championship with 11 wins and 15 podiums. This season has got 1 win and 2 podiums, and he's currently in P6 the championship with 176. Rising Star in 7th place, who's picked up multiple podiums as well, but he does struggle during the race simulation. He did come close to winning in Abu Dhabi, but unfortunately it got taken away from him, and he's in P7. Volokongan is 8th in the championship with race phenomena, and Volokongan has got 4 wins to his name, and Glock says nice rain in the wait time, so rain could be on the way. We'll see when it will hit the circuit. And in F1 2023, when the rain hit the circuit, it literally monsooned, it poured down, and a lot of drivers got caught out, including Russell and Norris and Albon, when they stayed out on the dry compound tyres. And Max Verstappen too. Verstappen dropped out to 12th. Perez went from last to first, but Verstappen hunted down Perez, and Sergio Perez fell off the podium as he finished in P4 with a 5-second time penalty. For whatever reason, it was Verstappen, Alonso and Gasly, but we'll see what the tyre compounds are, and it should be, everybody on the soft compound tyres. That's interesting. So that tells me the rain's on the way.
I think the rain's on the way, yeah, because starting on the softs round here is not the best strategy at all. We've seen it in Div 4, Div 3 and Div 2, that the guys that started on softs do not make up that many positions in the early stages and therefore get swamped in the end. So yeah, fair play, mate.
And Tim, what do you think? You think it's on the way?
Yeah, it's probably gonna fall around like lap 6 until like lap 12, somewhere between that gap, it's gonna start to rain, since the softs go 6 to 12 laps on this track. Well, 6 is like 6 is way too early for the softs to pit, but we never know, since why would you start on mediums when it starts to fall at lap 6? So it could be on the way very soon.
Also, as well, when the rain does hit the circuit, I think some people might be in a bit of a conundrum, especially Racing and Canadian, because one of those two have got to stay out. One of them is the championship fight. So, should Racing compromise his own race and give priority towards Canadian for the benefit of the championship, or is it free for all? Who knows? But all 80 drivers then line up on the grid, and I cannot wait to see what happens here, because the rain will definitely spice things up. We had rain here last season, which changed the pecking order quite a lot, but Marco went on to win his first race for his debut in SFR. So 18 drivers line up on the grid. The 3 Norwegians at the back of the field. The 2, 3, 4 lights on the panels. And we are underway for the Dutch GP. Let's see who gets a better start off the line. Racing gets a mega start, mega launch. He maintains the lead. Going down in towards turn 1. As we see, there's a Red Bull up the inside of Fireblaze in towards turn 1, but Fireblaze has the outside line and maintains P5. Laser and Dominic are fighting over P7 as we see the Ferrari who goes sideways. As there's a Red Bull off the track. That is Glock who goes off there in towards turn 3, as I think he just misjudged his braking and got caught up in a few melee there, but he's still going. Oscar has got a mega start. Oscar is up into P11 behind Pocket Valley guy, considering where he started. Volokongan and Hazara up into 15th and 17th there. Hazara's got to play with Klusler as they go side by side, and here comes the Haas there up the inside of Glock, but he gets out of shape, and here comes Klusler now down the inside in towards turn 10, but Volokongan has the outside line, maintains P15 for the time being. There's a Rebel of Glock who's looking to take a place away from the Racing Bull as we head down towards the chicane. We go. Who's going to yield? None of them are, but they're going to go side by side. Barely any room given, but just about, as Glock stays on the circuit for the time being then. So, a clean start. Oscar is up into P10 already. Oscar started down in P16. He is up into P10. What a fantastic start from Oscar there.
Well, just Yusuf there, just getting a bit close to Glock. Yeah, on that start, Jamie, there, just at the what I call the carousel, I think it's turn 2 and 3. We saw the Ferrari of Samed just getting rear slip, and also the McLaren of either Langfell or Oscar also going wide on that banking carousel. So yeah, really difficult for those two drivers, and just chopping and churning now, trying to get back into position as the McLarens just finally got back together.
What a fantastic start from Oscar from P16 to P10, the most gainer in this race there. He's already closing in on somebody in front of us, but Dominic has lost the place towards Laser as well. Hurricane stayed where he started, same with the championship lead. The top 9 have stayed where they started then, so no change in the top 9 there. As we can see, the Sauber and Glock has been spun round by Hazara as he rejoins down to P18. About to say all 80 drivers there surviving the first lap, except Glock, who's been pushed into P18. He is not happy there, moving left and right. Hazara not giving much space on the inside there, as we see Volokongan now, who's close on the back of the Racing Bull as we head towards the Pullsbrook corner. Switchback, very nice switchback indeed.
Wow, yeah, unfortunate for Glock there. He's not had the best time in this race. Just weaving his tyres just to get rid of that dirty air, dirty gravel. Yeah, he's going to be pretty slow for the next 4 or 5 corners.
I think it's raining.
Oh wow, that's early. That's early.
And that's very important for Alpine, because Racing is still in second. I think Liza Starr took the lead of the Grand Prix away from the Alpine driver, so one of the Alpine drivers have got to stay out there later than the other. They can't double start because they'll lose a lot of time. So I wonder, what's Alpine going to do? Are those two going to communicate? Are those two going to run their own race? Because remember, this is a big championship fight. There is 2 races left to go this season. Fireblades is a P5. He doesn't have to worry about his teammate. But Knave's on the back of his own teammate there. Will they fight out now during the rain period? Hussein is right at the back of the Alpine as well, make things worse for Knave as well. So is Knave in a bit of trouble in P3, be behind his teammate as he gets super close in towards the chicane? Is Racing going to do his own race? Because they don't talk in a party, these two. They do work together, but not in a party, because they know what to do on the track when it comes to qualifying and the race. But what will they do? Racing still wants his first victory. Dominic's followed down the order into P10, but here comes Racing then on the lead of the Grand Prix. He takes away first place. Here comes Canay. Will he go down east of his own teammate as he goes? No, he doesn't. He doesn't even take on, but he goes wide in towards turn 1. Rising Star might have the switch back, but he gets pushed out wide, and Canay remains in P3. Then Fireblaze on the back of Hurricane. He almost goes for a move, but Hurricane just defends for the time being then.
I think everyone's racing really well. It's going to get more difficult now that the rain's coming, but I imagine it's going to be another lap and a half, maybe even 2 laps, so people need to come in off these slicks. They're on soft tyres, so they've got the grip. It's raining, but it's not raining massively yet. So it'll be interesting to see what Racing Imola, Rising Star, Kanem and Hussein, maybe all the way back to P8, maybe Laser and Oscar might be the ones to jump ship here. I imagine if those lead runners go through the pit lane or past the pit lane, you might get someone like Hurricane, Fireblaze, Laser or Oscar or even Samed jumping in early to try and get a jump. But DRS is not disabled. That's normally the indication that you need to go into intermediates, that DRS is disabled, and it's not at the minute.
Exactly as well. Kaname's on the back of Rising Star. Kaname is in the pit lane. He's jumped it then. He's the first one to commit on the intermediates then. As let's see if this is the right call. Is it a make or break strategy? Has he played the car right? Is this a massive blunder? Oh, there's a spinner in the background. No. Who's that? Is that Adams? Right. Adams is spinning the final corner.
Jamie, I think that's a good call because just as we were saying that, the rain intensified so much, it just like a switch went flipped on. Now let's just hope that whoever was going to the pits then has chosen to change wing, because yeah, we know what this game's like. When you've got orange wing damage, it doesn't always change it. So yeah, let's hope they've changed it. But yeah, the rain switch just flipped on then.
So the gap for... Oh, Hurricane's lost it. He's had a massive moment out of turn 8 to turn 9. He's in the gravel. Fireblaze has been released. He's up into P4. So let's see if Kaname is gaining. The gap is 20 seconds between first to 16th. That's his reference towards his teammate, of course. The gap is 20.1. So he's losing a bit of time towards racing so far. Hurricane has been dropped to P8 behind Samid as well. So maybe a little bit too early. Maybe the crossover point between the Inters and the Sauce might start happening now, but it does look more torrential out there.
Yeah, it might be a tad early, but it might pay dividends as long as they can stay within 2 seconds a lap of what they're doing. But yeah, Harry Kane, that looked like a really strange incident as we've seen more people pulling in the pits, Racing Star, Racing Waller. But yeah, Harry Kane had a weird one. Hussein, 10-second time to speed of the pit lane, that's not good from him. But yeah, so yeah, it was a very strange incident from Harry Kane there.
And now I think the intermediates are a better time because the gap's 18.8 as Rising Star now takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Harry Kane has gone on the mini car tyres then, so has he forgotten to put it on the Inters? And if he does, that's a massive blunder and dead to his race. Kaname has rejoined behind Hussein. Hussein with a 10-second time for speed in the pit lane there. So Kaname hasn't jumped his teammate Racing Nomala as we see them go through. The DRS hasn't been disabled just yet in this Grand Prix. Volokongan's gone through. Hazara's gone through as well as we go through Skyflop between these drivers. Then I think the Inter may be a little bit faster now in comparison towards those people on the soft powered tyres. You can see people now gaining time on the people on the soft powered tyres.
I think this is one of those tracks where the wet conditions are a little bit more difficult, and the DRS being deactivated isn't applicable. You know, it does look like the intermediates are running a little bit faster now, so it's very strange. Normally, if the DRS is activated or still activated, you're still quite fast on the slicks. But it looks like on this track, the intermediates are much quicker, even when DRS is not active. He's active, sorry.
Pocket Valley guy's got a 10-second time to say. I don't know if you saw that, but when Rising Star entered the pit lane, he hit the wall massively, massive impact. But luckily, hasn't broke his wing. Where's Kaname? He's rejoined in P4. He's ahead of his championship rival by a milestone. Fireblaze has been dropped into P8 there. Maybe Dominic might get past 2. There is Laser. Here comes Fireblaze out of the pit lane. So DRS has been disabled. The top 2 have stayed out during the Grand Prix. And the gap between Kaname and Fireblaze is about 3 cars in between then. So it hasn't really worked for Fireblaze. He has lost a lot of time towards Kaname there. Hasn't really played a strategy right. Kaname was the first one to blink. And he's in P4. Now right behind his teammate Racing Nomina as well. So looking good for Alpine so far. Advantage Alpine in P3 and P4.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see Salmon and Klaus are still on the softs. But yeah, Shorts, what have you got to it? Have you seen anything on track that should be brought to our attention or anything?
Yeah, I've seen some things happen. The weirdest thing is Langfield going to mediums on his pit stop. Not sure
Yeah, I
what
think that was a
strategy he is on.
yeah, I think it was a mistake on his part. It was quite a late pit entry. I don't think he had time to change it. So he's probably gone to his set strategy that he did before the stream. And it's one big downfall of this game. It doesn't automatically switch you to the inters if DRS is still active. So you have to basically select that. So yeah, that's pretty much why Langfeld is on the mediums. I don't think he had the time to select what tyre he wanted to choose. So that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, second race in a row as well for Hurricane, or second season in a row at the Dutch GP. Who's that in front of us? That's a Williams who's going very slowly. That's Kloosler. He's still the soft power tyres. Through goes Kaname up the inside. And here comes the Haas. Here comes Oscar side by side as well. Hussein trying to defend from Oscar, but Oscar has got the racer line. He muscles his way up into P3. What a recovery drive. Oscar, P16 to P3 in 8 laps. That's a fantastic drive there for the Norwegian driver, and Klausler has stayed out on the soccer power tyres way past his limits now.
That's the wrong choice. I mean, he's pretty much the cork in the bottle now. He's just getting passed left, right, and centre. He's probably going to get passed by another 6 or 7 drivers by the end of this lap. So he needs to cut his losses, come in, put the intermediates on, because he's not going to actually gain anything by staying out. Look, he's just getting passed like he's driving stationary. Maybe he was hoping that it wouldn't get as heavy, but it's obviously you can see now on screen it is raining. It is heavyish. So yeah, he needs to get off those softs and just put on some intermediates.
Yeah, he thinks he's at the the Hockenheim Grand Prix when they pit the inters on the dry compound tyre on the dry circuit.
Hazara just pushing Klauser out of the way because he's so slow on those slick tyres. But the only benefit Klauser really has now, really, is he's got an extra 2 laps on the intermediates towards the end of the race. He could potentially go to the end, but he's got 25 laps, is it? Yeah, 25 laps to do on those intermediates, which is doable. And, well, no, he's not now. He's got a 10-second time penalty. But yeah, it would have been doable to the end on intermediates because they are a durable tyre. But yeah, not now. He's got a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
And now
Just
Oscar
keep in
is
mind.
sorry about that. Oscar's right behind Kaname, and Vola Kongan is also trying to get past as well. Kaname's struggling, and Oscar is right behind him too to take him on. But F1 shorts, what are you going to say?
Keep in mind, this is a track which is pretty difficult on the rear tire, so if it's gonna rain till the end, I'm not sure if these people are gonna make it on just one set of inters.
Yeah, agreed, Shorts. Also, the front left tyre, for some reason around here, gets an absolute punishing. I've tried various setup changes to combat that. I've not found a solution to it, but yeah, the front left, for some reason, gets an absolute hammering, and that might pay. That might be very detrimental to drivers if they are trying to go to the end on the intermediates. Yeah, so watch out for that.
Last season, I think 2 people picked up a puncher. Pocket Valley guy was one of them because he tried to stretch his inters a long way, and I think it was about 20 laps.
23 laps. 23 laps it was. Yeah, I remember that, mate.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know how I remember that. But yeah, 23 laps on those inters he did, and we've got like something similar around here. So I think they've got to pit onto a balance of inters later on in the Grand Prix to make sure they don't get a puncher, because that's bad memories for Pocket Valley guy who's down in P12. He made his debut here as well after having a good qualified session. Oscar, however, did get past Kaname. Hurricanes were tied in the pit lane.
I'm not surprised at that, Jamie and Shorts. If you have a pit stop blunder like that, I'm never one normally to retire, but if you're that far behind because of a pit stop blunder or a setup blunder, then yeah, I do understand that. You know, we do offer points from first to last in SFR for the last couple of seasons, but yeah, your heart just drops when that happens. You just can't be bothered after that, can you? It's like, well, I'm not going to get anything. Although the only reason I'm going to contradict myself is there's always the chance of a safety car, so it does pay to stay in the race. But I know full well the emotions of drivers in league racing, and I'm the biggest culprit of this. If I have a shocking race and I'm 50 seconds behind the leader, that pit lane's looking so inviting just to like go back in there, turn this off, and put COD on or something, you know. So I do understand it. We don't encourage it, but I do understand it.
Yeah, for Harry Kane, might be Rocket League or what's it called? FIFA. Yeah, I think Harry Kane might put on FIFA because he does like that. But yeah, it's a shame for Harry Kane. I think like us three are drivers as well. I know you are Shores because you've driven in these conditions and you know when you make a pit stop error, like Jensen did back in the first race in Mexico. He pitted onto a new set of inters and it was dry compound tyres. So we've all done mistakes and yeah, it happens sometimes to the best of us. And yeah, it's just really annoying as well when you drop towards the back end of the field and you're no man's land. You know there's a chance of a safety car around a circuit in wet conditions, but you don't think about that. You just want to quit because you're just so far behind. So yeah, emotions run high during the Grand Prix, and that's why he's retired.
Yeah, I'm just watching the delta between Oscar and Racing Mola, and it's come down by 9/10 of a second in about 7 corners. So SHZ Oscar is pushing really hard on Racing Mola, and I'm going to keep an eye on this, but it does look like the time's coming down. I don't know if Racing Mola's push his tyres too hard and they're a bit hot now, or if they're cold, but yeah, Oscar is really pushing and making dividends.
He is indeed Oscar. Of course, in Shizou, along with Olakongan, both of them PSGL F1 drivers and elsewhere in different leagues. Olakongan, of course, won the WOR Championship as well, representing Shizou. Hazara as well, one of them, who has left ETA, and I think he's gone to a different team. Hussein, they're getting Oscar really out of turn 3. He's got a 10-second time or two, unfortunately, but unfortunately, there's nothing he can do about it. He could have to serve it towards the end of the Grand Prix, or when he pits again, because there's a high chance of pit. Hazara's got past Dominic. He puts himself now into P9 ahead of the Williams driver. As we see now, Laser, who's just in front of us, is up into P8, but he's alone in the Grand Prix so far. But now Hazara's in the back of him, got a bit of company as well for good measure. The gap is still 2 seconds between Oscar and Racing, so maybe Oscar, Racing have seen Oscar in his rearview mirrors and started to pick up the pace, however. But we haven't really talked much about Racing because he's one of those drivers in the Grand Prix where he does go backwards, it must be said, in the DRS trains. He can't seem to stay in the DRS trains and therefore just goes backwards. But this time, he's done a mega job and he's leading the Grand Prix as Sammy gets a 10-second penalty, so that must have mean he cut the chicane there. Sorry, my ears are popping once again, so it's distracted me from when I'm talking. But yeah, Racing has done a mega job so far in first place, and he's controlling it. And I don't think he's picked up a win just yet this season, nor a podium. So this could be Racing's first podium or win in this Grand Prix. Hazara's got past Laser, up into P8 he goes.
Just a quick one on the... Sorry, Shorts, go on, mate.
Kaneem is really struggling. He lost like 2 seconds in one lap on Oscar. And he has got the Haas and the Mercedes behind him.
Well, just a quick one from my side, guys. I was looking at the standings, and I know that the current standings haven't been updated for Vegas yet, due to my late student input, which I do apologise for. But if you go back 2 races, we've got Fireblaze and Kaneem before the last results was updated. They're only like 11 points between them. So Fireblaze at the minute in P6 really needs to get a move on if he has any hope of his championship battle. We've got Kaneem in... You can see from Rising Star's point of view that he's not far behind at all. So yeah, he needs to basically get a bit of a shifty on, really, if he's got any hope of bringing this championship fight to the last round in Silverstone. Bear in mind, obviously, the caveat is the standings haven't been updated to the current standings. But
Look at your DMs on Discord, mate. That's the current championship standings.
Oh, thank you.
There is only 1 point that separates them both.
Fireblaze is right. It just got overtaken by Volakonga.
Volakonga is up into P6 then, on charge to catch after Rising Star. Kaneem's doing a really good job, however, in P3 to keep these guys at bay. So it looks like Hussein, Rising Star and Volakonga can't find a way past the LP driver. He's done a mega job because he's lost a lot of pace, lost a lot of time towards the top 2. But of course, his main focus is the guy 4 places behind him in P7 on Fireblaze. Had a horrendous race back at the Las Vegas Grand Prix due to the guy behind him, which took him out into 13 and ruined his race and brought the gap to 1 point only between the championship. And so far, currently running the P3 is, here comes Volakonga up the inside, makes the corner stick. He's up the inside, up into P5 he goes.
The track seems to be getting wetter and wetter. I think it's still raining pretty heavily and not enough to go like to the full wets. But they might start to struggle a bit more.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Sorry, I'm just looking at the standings. That's tight at the front, no? 141, 144, and 147 for the top three.
Yeah, super close there at the top of the
Wow.
championship, and he's going to be really excited towards the end of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Who will take it all, because Caname has been superior this season. Fireplace has been beaten by Caname for the past few races, except Las Vegas, of course, when Caname bridged that gap over Fireplace. As we see now, Hussein putting pressure on. His teammate Volokongan is right behind him. Volokongan is also charging to field. However, the gap between second and first has decreased to 7/10. So Oscar has caught up to Racing. Racing looked like he was comfortable in first place. Has Oscar right behind him in the McLaren. As we see the Norwegian then putting the pressure on the Alpine. Let's see if Racing can defend against Oscar, because it can be a bit easier defending in the rain. Of course, the guy behind doesn't have DRS. We've seen Hussein been stuck in stationary behind Caname as well, but Oscar Volokongan right behind him is looking to try and take advantage. He's got a lot of ERS in his battery as well to try and get past him. Rising Star has been demoted down to P6. Fireplace has lost a bit of time towards Rising Star. As we now head on towards the main straight we go. We see the two Hasses in battle. Let's see if one of them goes up into P3 ahead of the Alpine. As we head down towards turn 1, nothing doing. But here comes Volokongan. It's a late move up the inside into towards turn 1. Can he get it stick? Can he make the move? Yes, he can. He gets ahead of his teammate. Up into P4 he goes. But he's stuck in third. He's stuck in third gear. What's happened to him then? He's just been... Yeah, he's not downshifting or upshifting. I think he's in AI mode, is Volokongan. What on earth has happened there?
I think that's a wheel issue, mate. If he's not AI in, and he's not upshift or downshifting, that's a wheel issue, mate, I believe.
Oh, what a shame. Fireblaze is stuck behind the Haas as well because he's in AI mode. So Volokongan needs to get his wheel sorted out because he's holding up Fireblaze as well. But Volokongan's been dropped down into two places. I've heard a lot of issues recently about wheels on this game. A lot of them disconnecting, and it really ruins and wrecks people's races too.
Yeah, Thrustmaster, they had a big issue on this game for some reason. Zero force feedback, I believe it was, or intermittent loss of force feedback for Thrustmaster wheels, or some Thrustmaster wheels. So yeah, it's not been the best game for bugs. A lot of people are very dissatisfied with this game and very much ready for the next one. And hopefully, fingers crossed, guys, everything crossed, that the next game is better than the last two we've had, because I think they've fallen a little bit short. I'm not here to slag the creators off, but they have been pretty poor games, the last two.
Yeah, I agree as well. Oscar is putting massive pressure on Racing. The track does seem to lighten up a little bit, so maybe the rain could stop in a few minutes' time, and we could see ourselves back towards the dry compound tyres, and I dare say the medium compound tyres will be attached to these cars as well. So we had a little bit of a shower in the second half of the Grand Prix, but now it could be back towards the wet conditions, and we'll see. Race is struggling to defend from Oscar. Oscar is all over him like a rash. It's just a matter of time to see when Oscar does the overtake, maybe towards the chicane, because Oscar, if he gets a decent exit, could be alongside the Alpine. As the Alpine goes defensive on the right side, blocks off the overtake for Oscar to get past as we head down towards the chicane. But it looks like the rain is stopping there, Tipper.
Here's one for you though, Jamie, because they started on softs. Unless the drivers in qualifying selected 4 sets of softs and also only set 2 laps, or if they set 3 laps, they won't have a set of softs available. So they're going to have to go mediums, and if they didn't select the particular tyre allocation, they won't have a set of mediums left, because some have used them, or they'll have 1 set. So what do you do in that instance? Do you go on the mediums, or do you go on the hard? The hards are rubbish around here, by the way. It's quite a long way. You've got 18 laps left. You can do 21 laps on mediums, not a problem, in the dry. That's if, when they go on the mediums, the track is grippy. If they're sliding around in the wet, it's going to use the tyre wear. It could be a problem. So that's something else to think about as they approach this drier section of the race.
What do you think, Tipper?
I think either as they are going side by side, Hazara and Rising Star, I think some of the guys like P3 to P8, one of them should pit now, because like it's worth the risk, and it seems to be very dry, and you could be back in the battle for the lead again.
And also, with it drying up too, the two houses are close together. The Alpine have got a bit of breathing space between P2 and P3, so they can pit on the same lap if they want to. But Volokonga and Hussein does got a 10-second time penalty, so I think Volokonga must get past quickly before he might get held up behind his teammates. So here we go, down the banking, the steep banking, as we now make our way on the main straight. Kanane could be vulnerable because he's got one Haas behind him, two Haas behind him. Here comes Volokonga, he's going to attempt the same move in towards turn 1 they go. As this time Volokonga gets the move stick after having his real problems. He finally gets himself up into P4.
Here's another one for you guys as well. If the people at the front pit now, they'll come out behind the guys that stay out. Will that be detrimental to them? They could get stuck behind the guys that want to do an extra couple of laps. This is what's going to be a big part of this race. Who pits first, who pits second? I imagine if the grip is still there, the guys that pit second might actually be better off. Because the guys that pit first will get held up by the guys that don't pit. So it might be an overcut scenario happening right now.
It all depends on how, when those guys pit in first and second, how much time they'll lose towards the guys who are on the intermediates, because the track looks like it's almost burned dry, and I dare say pit stops will be imminent. And it's a Red Bull or an RB who's gone for a spin. That is Yusuf Farouk at turn 3 who's gone for a spin, and here comes Langfeld and Glock as well to go through. Volokonga, however, is putting big pressure. DRS has not been enabled just yet, as we watch Volokonga right behind Kaname. Here we go, side by side on the straight. I don't think Kaname has any defence given as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Let's see if Volokonga get through. He can. He puts himself into P3 with a mega comeback drive from Volokonga and Oscar from the back of the field up into P1 and P3. The track is bone dry, however.
I know, but I still think it might have been a tad early for Glock, Yusuf, Adams and Klauser to go on the slicks, because it doesn't look like they're making up time. It's come down now. But yeah, I don't know if it was a little bit early. I've not seen the DRS message come back on, activated yet. That's another indication that it's definitely slick. So maybe the intermediate tyres are okay at the minute. It's probably the crossover point, definitely the crossover point. Oh, we just see Hazara on the inside line making a massive move there. But yeah, it might be a situation where the slicks just aren't quite firing up and getting heat in the tyres as quickly as they need.
Hazard up the inside of his hand. Can he make a stick? Yes. Hazard is up into P5 there. What a fantastic move. Just went up the inside there of Hussein in towards turn 7. He does get ahead. Now he defends in the next corner on the inside. He defends the inside corner to make sure that Hussein doesn't get back through. As we now see Hazard up into P5. Here we go then. As we now enter towards the chicane. Hussein is a bit too far away to get Hazara in towards the second chicane. As we now go in towards the farthest two corners. Oh, Hussein has made a massive mistake on the penultimate corner there. He almost lost the car in towards the penultimate corner, just drifting and sliding to the corner. As now we see Hazara on the inside in towards turn 1. Can he make a stick? He can. Hazara goes up into 4th place ahead of Kaname in towards turn 1. That's a massive move there, as Kaname has been shuffled backwards into P5. I think I'm a bit far behind. I'm quite sure why. Am I reading this in real time? Because that looked like it was a bit delayed for me.
Not sure about that.
I mean, I'm watching the stream because I couldn't join your game, so I'm 4 or 5 seconds delayed myself. But no, I think you were alright there, mate.
Here comes Raz to start on the inside. Oh, contact between those two. You can see Hussein is struggling there. He's one of the people on the intermediates who can't seem to take them further to the Grand Prix because the tyres are deteriorating. He has no grip at all on them intermediates. Rise to Star and Fireblades on the back of him like a rush there. As Hussein then is struggling on those inters. These guys are not pitted just yet, so maybe a bit too early to go onto the medium compound tyres. Oscar and Rachel are in the pit lane then. They should be. The mediums, I dare say, maybe soft for Oscar. Has Oscar gone for the soft? Yes, he has. Oscar is on the soft compound tyres.
Yeah, I think soft is doable from here. 14 laps, is it? So yeah, I mean, you could do 10, 11, 12 on heavy fuel. So you can easily do 14, 15, or 16 at this stage. So yeah, not a problem. I'd be choosing the softs as well, mate.
Hussein has served his 10-second penalty then. That could be a long pit lane loss there for him. As we see Oscar on a brand new set of soft powered tyres, the lead driver on them SOS. Racing rejoins in P6, but these guys have got these tyres, get to get these tyres up to temperature because as you can see, Tipper, they're struggling for traction.
I'm just having a look at the lap time Glock is gonna set now because it was Volokonga who did a 17.2 and Glock is gonna do an 18.0, so he's still slower, but it won't say Oscar and Racing Nomla and Kaneem will also be slower.
Volokonga, Hazara, Laser have all stayed out there. Oscar is right at the back of Volokonga. You can see that these guys are drifting on the mini-cup powered tyres. These tyres are not up to temperature. The track is still green, not rubbered in. But you can see Kaneem is under pressure there from Rising Star and Fireblaze as well. The championship leader in P7 and P9 at it again. When is the DRS going to be enabled? Because I don't think DRS is enabled just yet in the Grand Prix. That surely it should be activated very soon. No, it's not activated just yet then. So you can see these guys. Yes, ooh. DRS is enabled right now. The message has just popped up.
And Oscar just had a very big moment there out of turn 1. Almost lost it into the wall.
Oscar is our race leader from start to P16. Volokonga is in P3. Hazara is right behind Volokonga. So those two Norwegians are fighting for a podium. And interestingly, first, third, and fourth are on the soft powered tyres. The rest have got mediums. Fireblaze almost lost it at turn 3. Could be very careful, Fireblaze. You know the track isn't rubbered in just yet. Needs to be patient on the floor because if he makes any more mistakes, that means Kaneem and Rising Star could pull away. Those two are right behind each other as well. So Fireblaze could be very careful here.
I think the track temperature, because of the rain, hasn't come up as quickly as the medium runners need it. Obviously, the soft runners of Oscar, Volokonga and Hazara, they're getting the benefit of that soft, grippy tyre. The mediums are struggling, and you've seen it from Glock, Yusuf, Langfeld, all those guys. They've been on the mediums from very early on. They can't get their temperature in the tyres, and they're struggling. And I imagine Racing Mola is also going to get under pressure. I'd say within the next 5 laps from Volokonga.
You can see Fireblaze is struggling to stay in the DRS range of Rising Star, and Aiden was retired in the pit lane, so he's gone as well. But Fireblaze is struggling to stay in the DRS range of Rising Star and Kaneem. He's looking like he's losing traction every single time he applies a throttle dead, so the car not looking good in these conditions for Fireblaze, just struggling to stay in the DRS range of those two. That could be good for Kaneem in terms of the championship. Fireblaze got to do something, keep that car under control and find some grip and find some pace there, otherwise those two will pull away from him. But Volokonga and Hazara, those two then are fighting for the podium. I think Racing has done a mega job so far in this Grand Prix, but could Racing be under massive pressure from Hazara and Volokonga later on this Grand Prix when those two catch up?
Yeah, I think so. I got it wrong. I said the wrong names, but yeah, it was actually Hazara on Racing Molo that I was on about. With maybe the next 5 laps he could get to the back of him. So we'll soon see.
And I don't know if you just saw that. Go on.
Oh, Volokonga goes off track there and gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and that's not what you want if you are possibly in contention for a P2 or a podium at least.
Definitely not, as I saw Volokonga going off the track there, as now he puts himself into P3, but unfortunately he does have that 3-second penalty, and Fireblaze once again just can't seem to find the pace. Can the Ferrari driver? He is out of DRS range and he's not able to stay with it. He's been struggling out there on the mid-cup powered tyres, not able to keep up the pace with Rising Star Kaneem, just overdriving the car a bit too much and trying to get the throttle as quickly as he can, but it seems like the car is stepping out of him. Can he somehow get himself back in DRS range of Kaneem and Rising Star? Shouldn't be difficult. I don't know why he can't get himself back in DRS range of those two there, because those two are like still going hammer at at each other, Rising Star and Kaneem.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Volokonga now. His time in the last half a lap has come down by 4/10. And it's going up and down per corner, but it's gradually coming down. So yeah, I reckon by lap 30, Volokonga will be on the back of Racing Amola.
6.5 seconds there, and the laps left are 11 laps in this Grand Prix between Volokonga and Racing as well. So Racing could be in massive trouble, but I think he'll still stay in the podium because Volakongan's got a 3-second stability then, so Racing is safe, but he has got Volakongan and Hazara catching, as Hazara is 1.3 seconds away, so he's lost the DRS towards Volakongan then, so something's happened to him. Rising Star goes back ahead Kaname, he puts himself into P5 ahead of the LP driver, but Fireblaze, his championship contender's right there, but he's not doing anything so far P7, he's not able to catch up with P5 and P6, so he's wasting a lot of opportunities there against Rising Star and Kaname. Not quite sure why it's such a struggle for him to get close towards those two, because those two have been swapping places, but I really hope that Fireblaze does find something, because he's got a big golden opportunity to try and get the DRS to the back of those two, but just can't do it for some reason.
Hazara lost that time to Volakonga. He made the same mistake as Volakonga did the lap before and got that 3-second time penalty, and that was while he fell out of his DRS, but he seems to be back in the 1 second gap again.
He is indeed, is Hazara then so able to keep in the back of the DRS there of Volakongan. The gap was 6.2, now it's 5.5, as we can see Rising Star had a bit of a moment out of the chicane there, almost lost to him in the car as he has Kaname right behind him once again. Also, Fireblaze's ERS management has what let him down as well, and here comes Kaname with the DRS open, and he slides past Rising Star, but no problem whatsoever, puts himself into P5. But Fireblaze, the laps before, had DRS on these two, so I'm not quite sure why it was such a struggle to stay in the DRS range of these two, because obviously P5 didn't have DRS, so therefore Fireblaze could catch up, but it doesn't seem to be the case then. He just wasted a lot of time in P7, not really doing anything, as Klusler has retired in the pit lane. Oscar, however, in first place, has done a mega job from P16 to P1. The gap is 3.5 seconds between him and Racing. He's checked out in first place. Racing in P2 could be hunted down by Volakongan and Hazara later on the Grand Prix, and somehow Fireblaze just still can't get in the DRS range of P5 and P6. Just can't seem to do it for some reason, just keeps hovering out of it. And also same with ERS management too, just not really good enough to try and save ERS or get himself under a second.
Yeah, Volakonga now down to 5.3 seconds. It's not coming down as quick as he'd hope. He's only got like 8 laps left. He really needs to be coming down at least a half a second a lap if he has any chance of getting past Racing Imola and then circumnavigating that 3-second time penalty. So, yep. I think Volakongan is in trouble now from not only losing second, or not getting second place, but also losing third place. He's kind of safe to Rising Star, unless Rising Star can make those mediums fire. But yeah, it looks like Volakongan and Hazara is the battle on track for P2, P3. So it's been an interesting race so far. Started rainy, it went to slicks around lap 10, 11 I think it was, and we've now, sorry, a bit later, and we've now got 3 guys on the softs, and the rest of the field are on mediums of varying lap lifespan. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish to this race. Volakongan is now on 5 seconds, just sub 5 seconds behind Racing Mola, and it is coming down, but not coming down as quick as he would like. So yeah, let's stay tuned for this battle, because it's getting spicy at the front.
Kaname and Fireblaze only one position separating them, with Kaname now passing Rising Star, but that means the gap in going into the final round at Great Britain will only be like 8 points, I'm gonna say, I'm not sure, 10 points for P5 and 6, so it's 5 points.
15, yeah, so another 2 points difference, so I think Fireblaze, I think it'll be 1 or 2 points difference if it finishes like this, mate, but yeah, good spot there, mate. Yeah, it'll be, either way, it will be incredibly spicy for Silverstone. Yeah, that's
yeah, it
for sure.
will. Also because it's the track where you can battle like amazingly, and you can have some amazing battles, and if it's a championship finale, it will be even better.
Yeah, and what a track to do it at short. You know, Silverstone, it's a good track for overtaking. It's quite a technical track, high-speed technical track, should I say. You've got a lot of heavy, medium, and light braking zones. Quite a lot of opportunities to overtake as well, and it's a bit of an ERS track. You have to save it and use it when you can. So yeah, if we go into this final race with only a few points separating these guys at the front, it is going to be spicy indeed, mate. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Fireblaze's only hope now is that Rise of Star overtakes Canane and finishes P5. Start to reduce the gap between him and Fireblaze P6 and P7. So that's Fireblaze's only hope, because he's actually done nothing during this Grand Prix. He's just been sat there the whole time. During the first stint, the inter stint, and this stint as well, just absolutely done nothing during this Grand Prix. So just a lot of wasted opportunities there. Hasn't really pushed when he needed to, and now it's lost the DRS towards 5th and 6th. So yeah, it's just been a waste of time for Fireblaze there. P7 not really done anything during this Grand Prix. And Kareem, however, has done a mega job so far in P5. He's got Rise to start at the back of him, but I don't think he'll care, because Fireblaze is way further down the road in P7. Kareem has done a mega job ever since he started in the top 3. The sun is starting to come out as well. Rise to start is all at the back of him. Here he is with the DRS wide open. Then there is 5 laps left to go during this Grand Prix, and Rise to Star just simply walks past the Alpine in P5, P6. These two are just trading DRS. Don't know why Fireblaze struggled ever since he came out of the pit lane, because he was in the DRS for the first 3-4 laps. They just fell out of it for some reason, which just seems a bit weird for me.
Fireblaze and Kareem now 7 and 6, which is quite spicy. It's going to be interesting how this pans out. But yeah, Shorts, if you don't mind, mate, because you're in the lobby, can you just check the warnings of Kareem and Fireblaze, please, mate?
I'll do that.
Cheers, buddy.
Gap is 3.7. The gap's going down between Volokon and Oscar. Volokongan and Racer, sorry, for P2 and P3. Hazara's still there, catching Volokongan as well, so that battle for P3 is still spicy. Then we've got a battle for P5 and P6 between Rise Star and Kaneem as well, who've done a mega job so far in this Grand Prix, as Racing has done a mega job so far. Going for his first podium of the season is the RP driver, who hasn't pitched for a podium just yet, but he had some mega pace in qualifying and the race too.
Kaneem and Fireblaze both on 0 warnings. I just checked that, as Hazara gets past Volokong on track, but he doesn't have to put up that much of a battle, because Volokong has that 3-second time penalty anyways.
So that's going to be spicy between Fireblaze and Kaneem then. If they've got no warnings, they can just go hell for leather. But yeah, Fireblaze not looking too good at the minute. He's just hovering around that 2-second mark, and he's only got 3.5 laps to make it up. So yeah, you need to be a good 6/10 of that quicker, which at the minute he's not putting that in. He has gained a couple of tenths the last few corners, but yeah, at the minute that delta is not in his favour. So it looks like it's going to be extra spicy for Silverstone.
Not the home race Fireblaze would have wanted.
Yeah, but I think he's done okay. You know, he's done a good job in getting to where he has. I think, didn't he not have an incident quite early on? Was it turn 1 or turn 1, lap 1, or maybe lap 2, turn 1? But yeah, he's done well to finish where he is. As Kaneem as well. To finish next to each other on track is probably what they both kind of wanted. You know, you don't want the other person to finish too far ahead or too far behind, etc. So yeah, I think that they're both in a good position to keep this fight going and going strong in Silverstone.
3 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and Oscar still leads by 4.4. Volokonga's caught up towards Racing. The gap is 2.4 seconds, but I don't think Racing really cares, because he knows that Volokonga behind him has got a 3-second penalty, though. So therefore, won't affect his results, as Hazara's still there, catching up towards Volokonga as well. Rise of Star is fighting with Kaneem. Those two are still fighting over P5 and P6 during this Grand Prix, with Fireblaze in 7th place, just unable to catch up, just sat there in P7, not really doing much there in the Ferrari. Laser, bit of quiet race for him in P8 there as well. He's also the championship contender, but doesn't seem to have the pace around here, although he finished 3rd last season around here with Nordis in P2. Volokong got a bit of a wiggle on out of the final corner. Now he's got Hazara on the back of him with the DRS wide open, as Hazara will go through ahead of the Haasman. But it's been a very good drive so far from these two, or these three, shall I say, as they start at the back of the field. I wish those three were close together on track. Well, Volokong and Kaneem are. Volokong and Hazara are, but Oscar has just pulled away. I wanted all season Volokongan, Oscar and Hazara to be together on the track. We got our wish today, But Oscar, ever since he just made up about 6 places at the start of the Grand Prix, and picking it off by one, and got himself into first in in no rush whatsoever. First place, what a fantastic drive so far from Oscar it has been. The retirement in this Grand Prix is Hurricane, Pocket Rider guy Dominic, Adams, and Klausler. Hurricane retired pretty early as well because he chose the wrong strategy. As the Kick Sauber may have the DRS on the back of the Racing Bull of Usyk there, so Hazara does get the DRS there to protect himself against Volokonga. Oh, Hazara's lost. He almost lost the car twice there, as Volokonga's got past. He's up into P3.
Yeah, a little moment there.
Go on shots.
He hit the grass on the inside there, and that wasn't the best thing to do, but he's still within the 3 seconds of Volokonga, so he will probably get that podium, but it might have been a P2 if he didn't do that.
Yeah, his rear tyres will be scorched now though, just from that half spin, and this technical section in sector 1 and 2 is going to be difficult. He needs to keep his concentration levels high as a kite just to stay on track here. He's safe, I think he's safe because of that penalty, but yeah, he needs to make sure his rear tyres don't go too hot now. Just basically he needs to bring it home. He's high and dry, he's in third. If it was me, I'd pull off them pedals and just coast home. No need to overtake him on track. He's already got it with penalties. So yeah, I personally would just sit back and relax. What about you, Shots? What would you do?
I would probably do the same, but Hazara thinks different and he goes past again.
Yeah, these guys they're rapid though, aren't they? They're really good at what they do. Obviously seeing Hazara overtaking Volokongan. Last lap, he's not going to pull it out, obviously not, but yeah. Fair play to these guys. It's been a great race, been very, very clean as well from what we've seen. A couple of incidents, but yeah, really good from Division 1 guys. Very, very good professional driving, so fair play to them.
I'm surprised Raz Star didn't go for it on aiming towards tail. Well, the other battery to do so had about 6% battery, but decided to just stay behind him. So Kaname will finish at P5. Fireblaze was 7th place. The gap between 6th and 8th is 2 points. So the championship would go to 3 points. The last race of the season. So that should be a very interesting one indeed. So stay tuned for that.
Lap, Jamie?
I have no idea, but I don't think it's Kaname or Fireblaze. But here comes Oscar. Oscar will come across the line to win the Dutch GP. Fantastic drive for him. Racing will finish in P2 ahead of Azara. That's the top 3. As Volokongan will finish in 4th place with that 3-second penalty. As here comes Kaname, as he will finish in 5th, with Rising Star in P6. Fireblaze in 7th, disappointing from him. Laser will finish in P8 ahead of Samid. Hussein will finish in P10, but of course he will jump Samid with that 3-second penalty. Glock, we haven't really talked about, but he's still in the Grand Prix, so respect to him. We'll finish in P11 ahead of Langfall. We haven't really spoken about either, unfortunately. I haven't said one thing about him, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm going to be in it to win it, as Langfall will finish in P12, as Yusuf Farouk will be the last driver to finish. The Division 2 driver will finish in P13. And that is the end of the Dutch GP. I don't know if you didn't notice either, but Oscar ran out of fuel towards the line, but still kept racing at bay in P2. What a fantastic drive for racing to get his first podium of the season. Well, truly deserved, because in the last few races, of course, where it's been difficult for him to try and stay in the DRS train, to try and stay in the fight for the lead of the Grand Prix, because in the main critical points is where he loses the DRS and therefore can't have an advantage towards in the Grand Prix to fight with those guys at the top end of the field. But gets his first podium, and I'm sure he'll be delighted.
Guys, I'm going to leave the party just so you guys can concentrate on interviews. I think 3 people will be too busy for that. So yeah, been a pleasure, massive pleasure as always for both of you. And I will leave you to it, guys.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to have you with us, Dan.
Have a nice one, Dan.
Cheers, Shots. Take care, mate.
that is your classifications. Oscar wins from 16th, Racing from P1 to P2, Hazard from last to third, Valokonga from 17th to 4th, Canane 5th ahead of Rise Star and Fireplace in the 7th place. They haven't really done much during the Grand Prix, just sat there with P7. But in his days elbows out at the British GP, if he wants to do something and win a championship, because lost a whole lot of points towards Canane in the mid part of the season where he just lost out every single time on the last lap. Lays in P8 ahead of Hussein, Sam in the P9, P10 sorry, ahead of Glock, and there are your DNFs then. For P14 down to P18, Hurricane having a DNF to his name. But that's it then. Thank you F1 Shorts for being with me tonight, and I won't do podium interviews either. I'm not really in the mood to do podium interviews, but F1 Shorts, thank you very much to join me in the commentary box.
Thank you for inviting me.
We move on to the last race at the British GP.